1061 KISS FM, all the hits. Ryan O'Brien here with a special guest on the phone, the one, the only Michael Rosenbaum. Hi, Michael.
I think there's some others. There's some other Rosenbaums probably out there.
There are some others.
But I appreciate that, the one and only.
The one and only. There's some other, but there's no you. There's the only you. That's what it is.
That is true. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I'm good. I just got back from San Francisco, doing a little press for back in the day, and now I just landed, and I'm on my way back home.
Well, now you're on your way home, back home to L.A., right? Is that where you're living?
Yeah, I live in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Now, people know you're originally from Newburgh, and you've gone and done this movie back in the day, and I've seen you. I follow you on Twitter, and if you want to follow Michael on Twitter, it's mrosenbaum711. You can also follow the Back in the Day movie at BITD, the movie, on Twitter as well.
Don't I, Ryan?
Yes, you do. I do. We've chatted a couple times on Twitter in the wee hours of the night. But you can follow Michael, and you're everywhere for this thing. You're really out there pounding the pavement for this movie.
Well, you know what, man? I've said it before. It's like, the studio movies, they have this built-in infrastructure, $50 million, P&A, trailers everywhere. They send all their actors over. This, for me, it's a little low-budget movie that I made, a passion project, just giving back to where I grew up in Evansville, Newburgh. And for me, it's like without social media, without Facebook and friends and family and everybody telling their friend, word of mouth, it's the only way to really get the movie, out there. So you got to just keep rocking it,
Well, I can tell you from seeing it, it is a hilarious movie. We were there for the premiere at Showplace Newburgh a couple of weeks ago. I really enjoyed it. And a little, I think surprisingly to some degree, at least in my mind, and I'm not offended by anything, but I was surprised pleasantly by some of the raunchiness of the comedy, which I enjoy that kind of stuff. But when you sat down to write this script, because I get kind of fascinated by how the behind the scenes stuff works. When you're writing the dialogue, I mean, do you put those, that kind of language in there, or is that stuff that kind of happens as you're filming the movie and people are ad-libbing?
It's a mixture. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it's a combination. I mean, look, I always wanted to. The one thing I wanted to do was I didn't want to be the guy who comes back home and makes fun of his hometown, or I actually loved where I grew up, and I embraced it. And I think you can tell that with the aerial shots and the big, beautiful the greenery and the high school and everything just looks really great. And it's really all about family and everything. But when I come from I love John Hughes. I love Adam Sandler. I love the Farrelly Brothers. I like the old Porky's movies, the throwbacks of those. And so, when you're making a little movie like this, you try to incorporate as much as you can, but you don't have much of a budget. But you wanna make people laugh. And in a lot of ways, it's an homage to a lot of those great movies from the '80s or whatever, done in a little independent film. But when I wrote it, I have a weird imagination, and so I like to be a little raunchy, but I like to be combined with some heart. I want it to be a little heartfelt. There's a nice story with a lost love with Miranda Backer and the girl from Homeland, and so I try to combine all these elements. So you're in funny, and you're in like, oh my god, a little moment of surprise, and then it's a little sweetness combined. So. I don't try to push the envelope as much. I just always thought there's a funny scene where there is a wiener shot in the movie. But look, forgetting Sarah Marshall, there's a wiener shot.
Absolutely,
wiener shots are nowadays. They're everywhere.
They're all over the place.
They're all wieners galore. They're everywhere. So I said, you know what? I think this would be a funny, and it's actually a true story. That part of the movie is a true story.
The back of the truck.
The back of the truck is a true story. It happened with one of my buddies, the real skunk.
The real skunk.
And he was missing one night. He just drank too much, and one of our friends drove him home, and the guy ends up in the back of his neighbor's pickup truck naked. And so that's a true story, and there's some other crazy crap that went along with that. And then the cops were friends with one of our friends who then made a joke and went to his house and said, hey, we found your clothes, and they were at a crime scene. That's the true story. And he's like, hey, hang on a second now. I've been framed here, boys. And that was actually the true story. But Skunk was certainly naked in the back of a pickup truck. So, these stories that I grew up with, there's a lot of little moments in the movie where they're based loosely on reality and some characters that I grew up, at least the friends were. But, I like a little raunch. I like to laugh.
I'm with you.
The movie I just want to go to a movie and I want to have a good time.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too sappy, and there's some heart, but there's a lot of fun there. So, but I like I said, I love it all. There's a great throw up scene, which even if you have a weak stomach, it's kind of it's kind of fun. I just thought, there's some people who, if they see someone else throw up, they're going to start throwing up.
Oh yeah.
That's if they have, I know I have friends like that. So there's that scene, because you were at the premiere, where someone throws up and then the other person, and it was a kind of a chain reaction. And when you hear the audience, every test screening we did, people just really loved that scene. And I'll tell you, I would have cut it if it didn't get laughs. I would have cut the wiener scene if it didn't get laughs. But you test those things and you trust your audience, and that's how it works.
Well, and I'll tell you, I really enjoyed, one, it's shot very well. It is a great story. It's very funny. I really enjoyed it. And you can still see it. One thing we want to talk about, and we'll get to again, is that you guys are getting an extra run at Showplace Newburgh and Showplace East next week, right?
Yeah, we were only supposed to run for 2 weeks, and Nick Steeler, the movie's doing well enough that he went for another week, and now this weekend, as of today, tomorrow, and Sunday is the last week, and we're very lucky that they're doing another run, but at Showplace East in Newburgh, and it's so it's just so important. Like, I really recommend people grabbing a big group of friends and going to see it on the big screen, because it's where you grew up. It's where you're going to see Green River Road, and we're cruising the Strip, and places like Pizza King and Washington Square Mall, and these, So if you have a chance to see it on the big screen, you saw it on the big screen. It's a big difference when you see it with an audience, and I hope people come out to the theater, and who knows, if enough people come out to the theater, maybe they'll put it up for another week. But we've already been very fortunate, so I'm just trying to get people out to Newburgh and Showplace East, because I got to tell you, Ryan, I'd like to shoot another movie in Indiana. I'd like to come back and do another one, a bigger budget, and bring more actors, and it brings money to the community, and gets a nice buzz. And I think it's a great experience for everyone, and so I hope people have to support it nonetheless. So.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I think what makes this movie work is that for somebody like me who still is very close with a lot of my high school friends, even though we've all we've grown up, we've gotten married, we've each got kids now, but there's so much that you can relate to. And back in the day, like, you come home and all your guy friends, they've got married, they've got kids, but you guys go and you kind of try to relive to some degree those moments. The cruising Green River Road scene is really good, and it's very relatable for people my age and in that kind of same situation. So I think you did a really good job of making it something that people can believe. You know what I mean? It's not it's not an action movie, it's not a superhero thing, but it's something that, like you said, it tells a good story. And especially people around here, they can see they can see Green River Road. And like you said, Pizza King. And there's the shot of you guys driving along the riverfront in Newburgh, Edgewater Grill in the background, and the barge on the river and all that stuff. So there's a real relatable element to it that I think makes it work really well.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. And plus, if you wait after the credits, there's a bunch of outtakes, like 3 minutes outtakes. But, I appreciate that. That's what I wanted to get across. Look, I wrote this movie because it parallels me in a way that I miss going back home. I really do. And, people say, why? You live in L.A., you got all these fancy. I'm like, there's a sense of community. There's
absolutely.
There's a laid back feel that I always miss, that I always say I'm going to come back. I'm going to move back to Indiana one day. And I think a lot of people who are away from home, when they go back, they can relate to this, because everybody always longs to go back home. And sometimes you're like, okay, I'm not ready yet. I still got some things to do. But, we come back and play wiffle ball. When I see my friends, it's like time it never stopped. It brings back so many memories. Everybody tells the stories of the glory days, and and then also he wishes he kind of had a family. He's like, look at me, I'm getting up there, and he sees how happy his friends are, but at the same time, I try to keep things light and try to keep things moving along with the laughter and everything like that. Yeah. So.
Talking to Michael Rosenbaum, back in the day as the movie, go see it. It is getting a little extended run at Showplace Newburgh and Showplace East. You can also still get it on iTunes and video on demand. You can pick it up there. Very funny movie. I highly recommend it. Let me ask you this, kind of off that subject just a little bit. I saw that you had mentioned this on Twitter, because I think obviously people wanted to know what you thought, but the news today of Jesse Eisenberg getting cast as Lex Luther in the next Superman movie. Now, I will tell you this. I think you had the perfect reaction to it, in that, because the internet, people are they get stupid on the internet, and they think that sometimes that their opinion is the best opinion ever. But you made a great point in that Heath Ledger the same reaction was given to him when he got cast as the Joker, and that turned out all right. Do you find that people just need to. Why can't they just cool off and wait for a second? What's the immediacy of having to have this knee-jerk reaction?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think the only way I could answer that really is, look, everyone's passionate. Like when it's your sports team and there's a trade, you are more passionate than anybody, and you have your reasons why. And I'm flooded with all these tweets today. It's just unbelievable. Hundreds and hundreds of tweets saying, Michael, you're our favorite Lex Luther, and I'm so. It makes me so happy to know that you have so many fans and people who appreciated your work, because it's so difficult out there to do something, even like making a movie or whatever, or playing a character and getting everybody like you. I mean, Bob Dylan, or he once said something like, you could please some of the people some of the time, a few of the people all the time, but you can't please all the people all the time. And that's the way it is. And I think some people are disappointed, but ultimately that will start to go away, and the movie will come out, and it will be what it is. And he'll either be magnificent, and everybody will go, "Oh, I was wrong," or they'll say, "Wow, they made a mistake. It should have been the other guy.
It should have been that Michael Rosenbaum guy.
Should have been that Michael Rosenbaum, the one and only, as you called me,
right, the one guy."
So, I'm grateful for what I've done and what I'm doing, and I played Lex Luther for 7 years on Smallville. It was fantastic. But look. I was stunned at first. I certainly said, what? Because I was thinking, Bryan Cranston.
That was the name, yeah. He got brought up quite a bit beforehand.
But I think it's because, mostly for me, it was just because I know that intensity that they bring. That intensity that Joaquin Phoenix has is just, he can get that pure rage out of nowhere, and yet be, I think there's a lot of sides to the character of Lex Luther. It's like, I think he could be charming and yet so rotten, so deeply, mean, that I just, if you can convey those sides, then you've got it. And I think that, I've never seen that side of Jesse Eisenberg, but I've worked with him, and I think he's a great actor, and I think he's a fantastic human being. And I'm like, wow, Zack Snyder, look, he knows what he's doing. Zack Snyder's a good director. These guys know what they're doing. So you got to just it's going to be fantastic. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think if people just would chill out and give it a minute, and then see what happens when it comes out, and then make your decision from there. Before we let you go, just a couple things. After Back in the Day is all said and done, what's next?
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, we hinted on it before, but there's some TV projects in the works, and also, I'd love to come back and make another movie there. Bigger budget, bring more actors out there again. So it all really depends on, it's really up to the people to watch Back in the Day. I mean, it's one of those things where independent filmmaking, it's like, if an independent movie can make its money back, then that's success. It's tremendous success. So if, this movie could, make its money back and people enjoy it, then I'd love to come back and do another one and take the next step. So I'd also like to go to the Indiana Film Commission and get some tax credit and get that going, so we can bring more movies to
Absolutely.
We brought everything else. We brought ice hockey to Indiana. We already have a basketball team. We've got a boat, a casino boat. We've got, it's like, I think it's time to bring movies there.
I would agree wholeheartedly. Now that you've done, and I swear, I know you're driving back home, and so tell me when to shut up, but
no, you're fine.
You've now done the independent movie thing, and really ground up, did the whole thing yourself, wrote, direct, produced, edit, all the catered everything. And you've done the big budget motion pictures. Does each have its own level of satisfaction to some degree? Is one more satisfying than the other?
This was making Back in the Day, to me, was the most satisfying, because it's a passion project. You're working with all your friends. You don't have an infrastructure like the studios. Once you're done directing a movie, you hand it off to them, and they take care of it. They cut the trailers. They do the spots. They choose the pictures. They know how to promote it. They know what the theaters. I'm in every meeting. There's like a handful of us, like 3 of us, that were responsible for. We're multitasking, doing 50 jobs, and we didn't have any money. And we're just like, how we want this to look professional. We want this to look like a big movie. And I think we accomplished that in the fact that it looks like a really well-made movie. It's not like shot on someone's iPhone.
Yeah.
And I think that's the misinterpretation of a lot of people. They think independent movies, I ain't going to watch that. What is that? these artsy fartsy things, and that's just the opposite of what back in the day is. I mean, I think you can attest to that. I mean, it's big budget. There's a lot of big '80s and '90s songs. We've got a lot of big actors, a lot of jokes, and I think the Village Voice actually said the best review. They said he does what Sandler does. Instead of making it for $80 million, he did it for $1 million.
Yeah.
And I took that as a compliment. And I don't know if they were the biggest, Adam Sandler fans, but I am. And I was like, well, you know what? There you go.
Yeah.
So it's a ton of work, but I don't regret it for 1 second. I love studio films. I've never directed a studio film. I hope people could say, wow, look what he did for nothing. Let's give him some money and let him do a bigger movie.
Sure.
So that's always the goal. But it's baby steps.
Yeah.
So you just hope people support it.
Right. All right. One more question. I'll let you go. Sunday's the game. Who you got?
Man, that's tough. I mean, look, you got so many people. I guarantee a lot of people are going for rooting on Peyton.
Around here, it's big Broncos because of Peyton around here. Yeah, absolutely.
I gotta say Broncos. I really do. I mean, I think he's an unbelievable athlete, and he seems like such a great guy. And I think that what a great story. I got to say Broncos, but Seattle, what a story there, too, to come back. I mean, they were a team that no one even looked at a few years ago, and now they're just a powerhouse. So it's going to be a great game. But I think, I don't know, if you ask me hockey, I'd probably know a little better. But I'm going to say Broncos by 10.
Wow. See, now I've got it much closer than that. I think, and honestly, even though I'm a huge Colts fan, I love the fact I hated seeing Peyton go. I understood it, but I hate to see him go. I'm going the opposite way. I think it's a closer game. I think if Seattle gets the run game going, I don't think Denver's defense is built to stop it. If they can get the run game going, I've got Seattle by 1.
Wow. All right. I got the Broncos 27-17. That's my final.
See, I haven't actually picked a score. I guess I need to do that. I haven't done that yet. I should probably do that.
Get on that, man.
Yeah, I should. I'll have to think about that one. But yeah, I think Seattle pulls it off just barely. I think it'll be a great game. I do for sure. So.
Well, we will see.
I think we will. All right, Michael Rosenbaum. Follow him on Twitter, mrosenbaum711. Was there already 710 Michael Rosenbaums out there, or are you just a big convenience store fan?
No, it's my birthday, man.
Oh, all right. All right. That makes more sense.
mrosenbaum711, and I will, I occasionally tweet back, and I Facebook back, and check out the movie, man, and
it's good.
And rate it on the the Flickster, and give us some good points, and Facebook me, and tell me what you thought, and I'll write you back.
Absolutely. You can also find the movie itself. Its Twitter account is @BITD the movie. Michael, appreciate it. You're always welcome. Anytime you got something going on, next time you come in town, whatever, swing by. We'll talk.
You're the best, man. Thanks so much.
Take care. Be safe on the way home.
See you later.
All right.